No woman wants to follow a man who can't even lead himself. That's the raw truth. You think love is some kind of reward for simply existing? You think respect is just handed to you because you were born male? Let me break it to you. No one's coming to save you. No one's handing you anything. And no woman is going to look at you like a king when you're moving through life like a pawn. You want loyalty? Admiration? Her desire? You better become the man she wants to follow, not the one she's forced to drag behind her. See, we're in a generation of men who've been trained to be passive, trained to sit still, keep their head down, and wait for permission. But masculinity doesn't wait. It leads. Leadership isn't optional. It's your duty. And if you don't lead, she won't love you the way you crave. She might tolerate you. She might even stay for a while. But deep down, she's not inspired by you, because you can't even inspire yourself. And trust me, women can feel that. They can smell weakness the way sharks smell blood and water. You want her trust? Her surrender? Her faith in you? Then give her something real to believe in. Not empty words. Not fake confidence. Not the facade of masculinity that crumbles under pressure. Give her your vision, your strength, your direction. Women don't follow perfection. They follow certainty. They follow presence. They follow leadership. And if you won't give that to her, believe me, another man will. And that man won't be nicer or sweeter or more deserving. He'll just be more decisive, more grounded, more in command of his own damn life. You know what separates a lion from the rest of the pack? It's not brawn, it's mindset. A lion does not concern himself with the opinion of sheep. You've heard that line before, but have you lived it? Because the truth is, most men are sheep pretending to be wolves, talking about alpha this and sigma that, but can't even look themselves in the mirror without flinching. You care what your ex thinks. You care what your boys say. You care what strangers comment on your posts. You're ruled by public opinion, and you wonder why you don't feel powerful? Leadership means breaking out of the herd. It means going against the grain. It means walking a path that no one clears for you and dragging others up with you, even when it's hard. That's the weight of masculine energy. That's the cost of being the man. And yes, it's a cost, because to lead is to carry. To lead is to sacrifice. To lead is to outgrow your excuses and become something bigger than your fears. If that scares you, good, because fear is the compass. It points you straight to where the work needs to happen. So, if you're tired of being overlooked, disrespected, and forgotten, this channel is your new home. We don't sugarcoat. We don't coddle. We build men here. Real ones. Welcome to the movement. Welcome to the truth. Welcome to the channel. If you're ready to step into your power, lead your life, and become the man you were born to be, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe now. We're just getting started. Now that we've called it out, let's dig deeper. Why does this matter? Why should you care about leading? Why is this one trait the make or break factor for love, respect, success, and power? Because whether you realize it or not, we are in the middle of a masculinity crisis. And it's not coming, it's already here. Most men today have been conditioned to be passive, reactive, emotionally fragile, spiritually hollow. You've been told to go with the flow, be nice, don't rock the boat. But you were never meant to float through life like driftwood. You were meant to steer the damn ship. Everywhere you look, men are shrinking. We're watching an entire generation of guys fold under pressure because no one taught them how to lead. You were told leadership is toxic. That masculinity is dangerous. That taking charge makes you controlling or oppressive. So what happened? You stopped owning your decisions. You stopped taking risks. You started asking for permission instead of forging your own path. You became soft. Not gentle, soft. There's a difference. Gentleness is controlled strength. Softness is weakness in disguise. Here's the problem. Nature doesn't care about your feelings, and neither do results. Society may say it values emotional sensitivity over decisiveness, but watch what it actually rewards. Who gets the promotion? Who builds the empire? Who commands the room? It's never the passive man. It's the one who owns his presence. The one who makes decisions under pressure. The one who leads even when he's unsure. Leadership is the axis around which everything spins. Wealth, relationships, purpose, and legacy. Let's talk about relationships, because this is where men lose the most. Women are not attracted to control, but they crave direction. They crave stability. They crave a man who moves with clarity and intent. You don't win her heart by demanding it. You win it by being someone worth following. She doesn't need a dictator. She doesn't want a boy. She wants a man who knows who he is, where he's going, and why. That's leadership. That's what activates her feminine energy. When she feels safe in your direction, she unlocks everything you desire from her. Trust, loyalty, desire, surrender. But if you're indecisive, if you fumble through life without a plan, if your idea of leading is waiting for someone else to tell you what to do, don't be surprised when she pulls away. Women may smile at your niceness, but they crave your strength. And I don't mean physical force. I mean emotional gravity, mental clarity, a calm center in the chaos. Leadership isn't about barking orders. It's about owning your life so fiercely that others naturally want to follow. And the truth is, leadership isn't limited to relationships. It's everywhere. Your job, you're either leading or being led. Your finances, either you control your money or it controls you. Your health, either you lead your body or your habits will destroy it. Every area of life responds to the man who leads it. And when you don't, entropy takes over. That's the law of the universe. What isn't led, decays. But here's the part no one tells you. Leadership starts with self. Before you can lead her, your team, or your future kids, you've got to lead you. You've got to become the man you would trust to follow. That means killing the part of you that makes excuses, that blames others, that waits for motivation instead of building discipline. It means stepping into the fire of responsibility and saying, "This is mine," all of it. Because when you lead yourself, people notice. Opportunities show up. Respect is earned. Women start looking at you differently, not because you change your clothes or flexed harder, but because they feel your direction. And that's what they're wired to respond to. Biology doesn't lie. Psychology doesn't lie. And results never lie. This isn't a game. This isn't about manipulation or pickup tricks or social media tactics. This is about becoming the kind of man who bends the world around his vision, not the one who's bent by everyone else's. The man who shapes his world instead of getting shaped by it. That starts with one thing: leadership. Pure, raw, unapologetic leadership. You understand now why leadership matters. But understanding isn't enough. We got to go even deeper, because knowing why something is important won't help you unless you face the parts of yourself that are in the way. So this part, it's going to sting. This is where we rip the mask off, where we drag your weaknesses into the light and stare them down. No sugar coating, no soft landings. If you want to lead, you've got to kill what's been keeping you weak. Here's the first truth. You are addicted to comfort. You want safety. You want ease. You want the path with the least resistance. That's not strength. That's not masculine. That's decay. Women can feel it. You think she doesn't notice how you hesitate when it's time to make a decision? You think she doesn't see your excuses, your flinching, your passive-aggressive energy? She sees it all. She's just too polite or too tired to tell you to your face. And every time you choose comfort over action, you confirm her deepest fear. You're not the man she can trust to lead. And that's the kicker. She doesn't trust you. Not because she's damaged. Not because she's dramatic. But because you're not trustworthy. You fold under pressure. You flinch when it's time to commit. You wait for someone to tell you what to do. You cry to her about your problems, hoping she'll love you more for being vulnerable. But she doesn't want a son. She wants a man who can carry weight, who can hold space, who doesn't collapse emotionally when things get tough. Let's talk about indecision, because this one destroys more men than failure ever will. You think being open-minded means not making a call. You overthink, second-guess, stall, and then wonder why nothing in your life is moving. Indecision is death by 1,000 cuts. A man who can't decide is a man who can't lead. You don't need to be right all the time. You need to be decisive. Clarity is attractive. Confidence is magnetic. Stop waiting to be certain. Act. Adjust. Lead. Then there's emotional impulsiveness. You think you're being real by venting every thought that passes through your head. But leadership means controlling your emotional state, not being ruled by it. If your emotions own you, you are not safe to follow. You rage when you're frustrated. You shut down when things don't go your way. You spiral when you don't get attention. That's not masculinity. That's immaturity. And no woman is handing her life over to a man she has to babysit emotionally. Purpose, or the lack of it. Let's be honest. You have no direction. You wake up, scroll your phone, go through the motions, and wonder why your soul feels empty. A man without purpose is like a ship without a rudder, tossed around by the waves, looking for someone else to give him meaning. You think a job title or a girlfriend will fix that? They won't. Purpose doesn't fall into your lap. You build it. You craft it through challenge, pain, sacrifice, through choosing something bigger than your comfort and committing to it with everything you've got. Now let's go even deeper. You're financially dependent. You live paycheck to paycheck. You rely on your parents. Your girlfriend pays the bills. Or worse, you expect a woman to split everything equally while you drift through life with no fire to provide. Money isn't everything, but power is. And without money, you're not free. You can't lead from a place of desperation. You can't speak your truth when you're afraid of losing the roof over your head. Leadership means ownership. Own your income. Own your value. Own your ability to provide. And we can't avoid this one. You're addicted to porn. Let that sink in. You're chasing fake pleasure from a screen while your goals die in the background. Your drive is being hijacked. Your brain is being rewired to settle for fantasy instead of reality. You're numbing your edge, weakening your will. How are you supposed to lead when you can't even control your own urges? You think she doesn't know? She feels the lack of spark, the lack of edge. Porn strips your energy, drains your ambition, kills your hunger. It makes you passive, obedient, dull. You also seek constant validation. From her, from social media, from your peers. You shape-shift to fit in. You suppress your voice so people don't get uncomfortable. That's not leadership, that's cowardice. Real leadership is polarizing. It stands for something. If you're addicted to approval, you will always follow. You'll betray your mission for applause. And women know it. They don't want a man who needs to be told he's good enough. They want a man who decides he is, no matter who's watching. It's time you understand something crucial. You're not suffering because life is unfair. You're suffering because you won't change. Every excuse you make is a brick in the wall that separates you from your potential. Your softness is self-inflicted. You weren't born weak. You chose it. You fed it. You protected it. Now it owns you. But here's the brutal truth. No one is coming to save you. Not your parents. Not your girl. Not your boss. If you want to rise, you have to bury the boy and become the man. Robert Greene said it best. He who cannot obey himself will be ruled by others. If you don't learn to command yourself, to dominate your impulses, direct your emotions, and discipline your actions, then the world will command you. Your woman will lead you. Your job will control you. Your habits will cage you. Leadership starts with self-mastery. There's no shortcut. And you want to know why this all matters to her? Because she wants to relax into her feminine. She wants to trust. She wants to let go. But she can't do that if you're not holding the frame. If she has to be the emotional anchor, the planner, the protector, then she's no longer your woman. She's your mother, and she will resent you for it. You don't just lose her attraction. You lose her respect. And when respect is gone, it's over. This isn't about pretending to be perfect. It's about facing your flaws head-on and doing the work. The world doesn't need more nice guys with no spine. It needs men. Men who lead themselves with honor, focus, and fire. Men who aren't afraid to say, "This is on me, and I'm going to fix it." So, are you uncomfortable yet? Good. Discomfort is the beginning of transformation. It's the signal that you've been asleep too long, and it's time to wake up. Because now that we've ripped the lies off and exposed what's keeping you stuck, the only question left is, what are you going to do about it? Let's not waste a second. Coming up next, I'm going to give you the exact steps to reclaim your masculine edge, lead your life, and become the kind of man women and the world follow. Let's get into the action. Now that you've looked in the mirror and faced the ugly truth, what now? You felt the sting. You've seen where you've been falling short. That's the first step. But awareness without action is just another form of procrastination. Knowing where you're weak isn't enough. You have to move. You have to build. You have to lead. And that starts not with a woman, not with the world, but with you. Leadership is earned in the dark, in the early mornings, in the silent decisions no one sees. So let's break down the steps. This is how you reclaim your power. This is how you lead. Step 1. Lead yourself first. Before you can ask anyone to trust you, admire you, or follow you, you need to become a man worthy of that trust. That starts with self-discipline. Set your alarm. Wake up at the same time every single day. Not when you feel like it. Not when you're motivated. Every day. Leadership begins with consistency. When a man honors his own word, others begin to believe in him. When you master the basics, waking up early, eating clean, staying off your phone first thing in the morning, you show yourself that you are in charge. You want a woman to respect your focus? Then stop living like a distracted child. Cut the noise. Set boundaries with your devices, your environment, and your time. You don't need to broadcast your hustle. She'll feel it. You'll stop over-explaining and start embodying. You want to command respect? Start by commanding yourself. Step 2. Make decisions without flinching. Let me be blunt. I don't know is a weak man's anthem. Leaders make decisions. Period. You're not expected to always be right, but you are expected to move. Indecision is repulsive. You hesitate. She feels it. You defer everything to her. She loses faith. Confidence isn't about ego. It's about clarity. So practice it. Plan the date. Pick the restaurant. Lead the damn conversation. Don't ask her where she wants to eat for the 5th time. Decide. If she hates it, fine. Adjust next time. But don't be passive. Passive men get tolerated. Decisive men get followed. A man who hesitates kills attraction. Confidence is clarity in motion. Step 3. Build something that matters. You want to be magnetic? Build. Women don't follow potential. They follow momentum. A man on a mission is a man in demand. Build your career, your side hustle, your physical body, your daily habits. Anything that proves you're here to grow, not coast. There's nothing more attractive than a man building a life with intention. You're either constructing or you're decaying. There is no neutral. Your work is your weight class. Want to attract better women? Level up your output. Your work is your weight class. Lift heavier. Step 4. Train your mind to be calm under pressure. She's going to test you. Not because she's trying to break you, but because she needs to trust you. She needs to know that if life hits hard, you won't fold. Leadership isn't about brute strength. It's about emotional sovereignty. When she panics, do you panic? When she argues, do you scream? When the world burns, do you burn with it? Or do you anchor her? Train calm like you train your body. Turki. Journal. Meditate. Practice stillness. Study books like The Art of War. Don't wait until the chaos hits. Prepare now. Calm is not weak. Calm is controlled chaos. Step 5. Lead with vision, not emotion. You want her to follow you? Then know where you're going. You can't wing your life and expect her to feel safe in it. What's your plan for the week? The year? The relationship? Vision creates certainty. It gives her something to believe in. Women aren't looking for perfect. They're looking for presence with direction. She wants to feel safe, not just physically, but emotionally. And your vision is that safety. When you say, here's the plan, and follow through, her walls drop. Her trust rises. Her femininity relaxes. Because she knows she doesn't have to carry the weight alone. He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow. And here's the truth. If you don't give her a plan, she'll make her own, and you'll become part of her story, not the other way around. She doesn't want to write the script. She wants to be part of something bigger. Your mission, your kingdom, your path. Start mapping out your life like it matters. Budget your time like it's money. Set goals. Track progress. Reflect weekly. A leader doesn't guess, he measures. And when she sees that you take your life seriously, she'll feel safe surrendering to it. Leadership also means emotional regulation, not suppression, regulation. Know when to speak and when to listen. Know when to stand firm and when to bend. A leader doesn't react to every emotional wave. He rides the tide, steady and focused. You want to win her respect? Stop oversharing your confusion and start embodying calm clarity. Your body matters too. A weak frame signals a weak foundation. Lift weights, train hard, eat clean. Not for aesthetics, but for presence, for command. When you move with strength, you exude strength. You walk into a room, and she feels it before you speak. Stop waiting for permission to be great. Stop asking her to fill the void you refuse to face. Lead yourself first. When you do, everything else starts aligning: women, purpose, power. But it starts with the boring, unsexy habits done daily. That's where leaders are made. These steps aren't tips. They're disciplines. And they're not just for her, they're for you. Because when you lead, you transform. You become the man you respect. And that, in the end, is what draws others in. Respect doesn't follow charm. It follows conviction. So no more talk. No more someday. No more excuses. Let yourself make decisions. Build with purpose. Cultivate calm. Cast vision. You do those 5 things, and you won't need to chase respect. It'll follow you. Reluctantly at first, then loyally. And next, we're going to dive into something even deeper. The mindset that separates boys who lead temporarily from men who lead for life. The psychology of masculine leadership is a world of its own, and we're about to enter it. Let's go. You've started to lead yourself. You've felt the fire of discipline, the sharp edge of decision, and the pull of purpose. But real leadership isn't a checklist. It's a lifestyle. It's not just what you do, it's who you become. And that transformation, it lives in the habits you practice and the mindset you carry every single day. Leadership isn't just about the outside world. It's forged in your internal code. So now we go deeper. These aren't just skills. These are masculine laws, habits and mindsets that make you unshakable, magnetic, and impossible to ignore. 1. Emotional mastery. Let's get one thing straight. Emotional control is not emotional suppression. The world has lied to you, telling you to man up by bottling everything or open up by dumping your feelings like a flood. Both are weak. Masculine emotional mastery means you feel deeply, but you respond strategically. You don't get rattled. You don't snap. You don't melt under pressure. You learn to sit with your anger without letting it control you. You learn to move through pain without turning it into weakness. The man who can stay calm in chaos is the man everyone turns to when things fall apart. She doesn't need you to be numb. She needs you to be stable. A lighthouse in the storm, not a leaf in the wind. When you're emotionally grounded, she relaxes. She follows because she knows, no matter what happens, you won't lose yourself. 2. Delayed gratification. You want to be powerful? Restrain yourself. A man who can delay pleasure is a man who controls his destiny. Most men are slaves to impulse, scrolling endlessly, chasing cheap highs, wasting hours on porn, junk food, gossip, or distractions. But a man with vision knows how to wait. He says no to what's easy because he's building something hard, something real. Delayed gratification isn't about denying yourself joy. It's about choosing the right joy at the right time. You hold the line now, so you can reap the reward later. You skip the party, so you can own the building. You put in the reps, so your body speaks for you. You sacrifice the comfort, so you can lead with clarity. The man who can delay pleasure earns the kind of life that makes pleasure meaningful. 3. Financial command. You don't need to be rich, but you must be responsible. Masculine leadership includes provision, not in a 1950s cliche, but in the modern reality of being a man who handles his finances with discipline and direction. A woman doesn't need you to buy her the world. She needs to feel like she's safe in yours. That means you pay your way. You know what's coming in, what's going out, and where it's all going. You don't waste money on dopamine fixes. You invest in your future. You budget. You save. You stack skills. You build streams. Financial command is about building options. And nothing makes a man more magnetic than having freedom of movement. Because when you're not a slave to bills, debt, or dependence, you can lead from strength. She sees it, she feels it, and she follows. 4. Physical discipline. Your body is not decoration, it's a declaration. When you walk into a room with a strong frame, you don't have to say a word. Your discipline speaks for you. Lifting weights, training with intention, eating with awareness. These aren't just health choices. They're leadership habits. A strong body tells her, in the world, this man can handle pressure. He can protect. He can provide. He can perform. But more importantly, a strong body tells you that you've earned your own respect. You don't need six-pack abs or elite genetics. You need ownership. Get strong, not just for looks, but for command. You lead better when your body is aligned with your purpose. 5. Strategic thinking. Leaders don't just react, they anticipate. Most men are stuck in survival mode, living day to day, reacting to problems as they come. But the masculine leader thinks 3 moves ahead. He observes. He analyzes. He adapts. You can't lead your life, or a woman, if you're always behind. Start thinking long-term. Study strategy. Understand leverage. Know what's happening before it happens. Be the man who plans for storms in clear weather. Whether it's in business, relationships, or your daily routine. Be the chess player, not the pawn. That kind of mind earns trust, fear, and loyalty. She's not following your feelings. She's following your foresight. 6. High standards. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. Your standards are the frame of your leadership. Low standards mean low respect. If you let your woman walk over you, test you without boundaries, speak to you with contempt, that's on you. A masculine man sets clear lines. He doesn't control, he commands. High standards aren't just about her behavior. They start with yours. What time do you wake up? What food do you eat? What media do you consume? What values do you hold when no one's watching? Your standards lead her behavior. If she sees you live by principle, not desperation, she'll either rise to meet you or fall away. Either way, you win. Because your kingdom is built on values, not vibes. And here's something you don't hear often. She wants you to lead her standards too. She wants a man who calls her higher, who says, we don't talk to each other like that, or this is how we solve problems in this house. She doesn't want a roommate. She wants a leader. And high standards are your guiding torch. Start applying these mindsets daily. Not once a month when you're motivated, but every day, especially when it's hard. These are the masculine roots that grow deep beneath the surface, long before anyone sees the strength on top. Emotional mastery, delayed gratification, financial command, physical discipline, strategic thinking, and high standards. They work together. Miss one, and the others crack. Nail them all, and you become undeniable. Remember, real leadership isn't loud. It's consistent. It's quiet. It's unshakable. You lead not just with words, but with presence, with vision, with identity. A man who lives like this doesn't demand respect. He attracts it. He doesn't have to convince his woman to follow him. She wants to, because she trusts the man he's become. And that brings us to the final truth, the root of all leadership, power, and respect. It's not just about habits or even mindset. It's about character, the code you live by, the legacy you leave behind. In the final section, we're going to bring it all home, the essence of masculine leadership and why you must lead or you'll be led. Let's close strong. So you've built the habits. You've reshaped your mindset. You've taken command of your body, your money, your emotions, and your standards. But here's the million-dollar question. Why isn't she responding? Why is she still distant? Still testing? Still unsure? You've done the work, but something feels off. And that's where most men go wrong. They assume that because they've improved externally, everything should just fall into place. But leadership, true masculine leadership, isn't just about improvement. It's about direction. It's about conviction. Here's the hard truth. Women aren't drawn to perfection. That's a lie sold by insecure men and weak culture. She doesn't care if you've got a 6-figure income, or a 6-pack, or a 6-foot frame. If you have no direction, she won't follow. Women aren't wired to follow a man because of what he has. They follow him because of what he believes. They follow conviction. When you move like a man who knows where he's going. Even if you're not there yet, that's what draws her in. She's not watching your bank account, your resume, or your wardrobe. She's watching your eyes. Are they focused? Do they burn with purpose? Or do they drift around, waiting for life to give them permission? You need to understand something. Masculine energy is direction. Feminine energy is flow. That's not just spiritual fluff. It's biological, psychological, ancient. She isn't meant to steer. She's meant to respond. She's looking for your trajectory, your confidence, your vision. If she senses that you're drifting, she won't feel safe. And if she doesn't feel safe, she can't surrender. She can't relax into her feminine. She won't follow chaos. She'll try to control it. That's where power struggles are born. Not because she wants control, but because you gave up the wheel. Let's break that even further. If she's disrespecting you, it's not because she's damaged, modern, or too independent. That's a scapegoat. The truth? She doesn't feel your leadership. She doesn't see consistency. She doesn't hear vision. So she tests. She pushes. She resists. Not because she hates you, but because she wants to believe in you. And right now, you're not giving her enough to believe in. Remember this line and carve it into your mind. Women don't fall in love with potential. They fall in love with movement. You can't convince her to respect you with promises. She doesn't care what you might do. She's watching what you're doing right now. Every day, you stay in motion, building your body, chasing your mission, standing on your word. You're telling her, this is a man I can trust. This is a man I can follow. So many men say, I treat her well. I listen. I'm there for her. Why doesn't she appreciate me? Because leadership isn't about niceness. It's about certainty. You can be kind and still lead. But if you're passive, indecisive, or emotional, she won't trust the structure you're offering. And here's where it gets real. She doesn't want to lead you. She doesn't want to guide you, fix you, or be your therapist. She wants a man who has already chosen his direction and invites her to be part of it. When you embody direction, she naturally flows. She supports. She nurtures. She softens. The tension fades because she finally feels like she can let go. That's the balance. That's the dance. But it starts with you, with your ability to hold the frame, stay calm under fire, and move forward no matter what. That's masculine leadership. Not dominance. Not control. Direction. If she's not following you, stop blaming her and start asking yourself, what am I offering to follow? Are you a lighthouse or a flickering candle in the wind? Because once you stop trying to impress her and start living by purpose, you become magnetic, not just to her, but to the world. And from that place, she doesn't just follow. She chooses you again and again. And that leads us to the final message, what this all really means. Not just for your relationship, but for your entire life. The final section is your wake-up call, your final push. Because the truth is, no one will love a man who can't lead. And now, you know what it takes. So let's bring it home, like a man. So now you understand what women truly follow. You understand the structure, the habits, the mindsets, the raw masculine energy that draws her in. Not with words, but with presence. But here's the bitter pill. The reality most men ignore until it's too late. What happens if you don't change? What if you hear all this, nod along, and go back to comfort, passivity, and soft living? Simple. You lose. No leadership means no respect. No respect means no intimacy. No intimacy means a relationship that slowly, painfully dies while you pretend everything's fine. She doesn't nag because she's evil. She nags because you stopped leading. She doesn't pull away because she's heartless. She pulls away because she can't feel your presence anymore. And one day, you'll look over and she won't be there. Not physically, not emotionally, not spiritually. She'll be gone. Not because she stopped loving you, but because you stopped being the man she could follow. And it doesn't stop with women. If you can't lead yourself, you will be led. By your boss, by your addictions, by your fear, by the opinions of people who don't care about you. You'll say yes when you mean no. You'll stay quiet when you should speak. You'll tolerate disrespect because you've forgotten your worth. That's not a life. That's a leash. Quote this in your bones. A man who doesn't lead himself ends up following anyone who promises comfort. And those promises? They're lies. Comfort is a cage dressed in soft cushions. It lulls you into weakness. It convinces you to wait. But every day you delay is a day you lose ground. To another man who's hungrier. to a world that doesn't pause for indecision, to a life that passes while you scroll, complain, or blame. You're not entitled to respect. You're not owed intimacy. You earn it by leading. So if you're sitting there waiting for permission, waiting for the right time, let me break it to you. No one's coming to save you. Not your woman, not your friends, not the internet. It's on you. So here it is, your final push. If you want to be loved by a real woman, be a man worth following. This isn't about puffing your chest or barking orders. This is about honor. This is about legacy. You were born to lead, yourself first, and then the people who look to you. Lead with vision. Lead with discipline. Lead with conviction. And you won't need to demand anything from her. She'll give it willingly. Not because she has to, but because she wants to. Because when a man stands in full command of his life, he becomes the anchor, the shelter, the lighthouse. He becomes unshakable. And that kind of man doesn't chase love. He attracts it. So if you're ready to stop being soft, stop being a maybe, and start being a man worth following, declare it now. Drop it in the comments. I lead my life. Say it like you mean it. Make it public. Make it real. Hit that like button if this hit you in the gut. Subscribe if you're done being a shadow of who you could be. And remember, a man's power starts where his excuses end. Now go lead your damn life.